You wake before the sun, not because someone called you, not because of sound, but because your body has learned the rhythm of this life, and it no longer asks permission. Your eyes open to the faintest light gray and colorless, pressing in through the seams of the canvas above you. The fabric is stained with old dust, ash, and smoke. One patch near your shoulder leaks a steady trickle of wind, cool against your neck. You lie still for a while, blinking. Your mouth is dry. Your lips are cracked. You swallow once, but the taste is stale, as if the air itself has settled into your tongue overnight. All around you, the others are breathing, the slow, steady breath of tired men. Some shift beneath their cloaks. Some snore gently. No one speaks. You push yourself upright. Your joints crack softly in protest. Your left knee refuses to straighten at first. You rub it, then press your hands into the packed earth below your bedroll and rise slowly, carefully. Your back is sore? Not sharply, just a dull, familiar ache. The ground has been your bed for too long now. The canvas walls sway faintly in the morning breeze, whispering against their ropes like dry leaves. You pull your cloak tighter, brushing off a few flakes of ash that have settled during the night. The scent of smoke is always there, woven into every fiber into your clothes, your breath, your skin. You duck under the flap of the tent and step into the early gray. The sky is flat, featureless, the kind of dawn that promises heat but not light. The camp is still tents hunched like weary beasts, the earth around them pressed smooth from footsteps. You walk toward the cooking fires, though you know there is no fire, only stones now, ringed and blackened, with bowls laid across them. Someone nearby has already warmed the bread. You see him kneeling beside a smoldering ember pile, holding a flat piece of it on the end of a curved blade. It curls at the edges slightly. The smell drifts toward Yushar. Ash. A faint touch of oil. It makes your stomach clench. Not hunger exactly. Something more fragile. A memory of what hunger used to be. He tears the bread and hands you a piece without looking. You nod. He doesn't nod back. You sit on a low stone, legs pulled close, cloak around your knees, and hold the bread in both hands. The crust is dry, but the middle is still soft. You bite carefully. It sticks to your teeth. There's ash on the bottom. It crunches between your molars. You chew slowly, eyes half closed, letting the warmth spread through your jaw, your throat, your chest. The warmth doesn't last. You hold the last bite in your palm, turning it over once, watching the way it's browned unevenly. The man beside you clears his throat. He spits to the side. Neither of you speaks. Across the clearing, someone shakes a blanket, sending a puff of dust into the air. Another man washes his hands with the last of his water, rubbing his knuckles like they're stained. You can hear a child crying from one of the pilgrim tents, not loud, not desperate, just tired. The sound wraps around the camp like a thread. You finish the bread and dust your fingers. The ash clings. You wipe them against your cloak. It makes no difference. Everything here smells of smoke. Your hands, your clothes, your thoughts, even the sky. A rooster crows somewhere, thin and unsure. You glance toward the horizon. No sun, just a slow brightening, like someone remembering how to wake. You rise again. Your limbs are looser now, though your left foot still drags slightly in the heel. The boot is worn, the sole cracked. You tied it tightly last night to hold it together. You walk to the edge of the camp. There, past the line of tents, is the chapel, just a wooden cross nailed to a post, draped with a faded cloth. Around it, the ground is worn bare. You step into the circle, lower your eyes, and touch your fingers to your chest. Not a prayer. Not really. Just habit. The cloth on the cross stirs in the wind. It was red once. Now, it's the color of clay. You stand there for a long while, until you hear footsteps approaching. A soldier, one of the older ones. His beard is gray beneath the dust. His eyes don't blink much. He nods at the cross, then at you, then walks past. You turn slowly and make your way back through the camp. Behind you, more men rise. Some stretch, some limp. Some tie their sandals tighter and stare at the horizon. A few gather near the water buckets. What's left is cloudy, shallow, already touched by too many hands. You take a mouthful and swish it around. It tastes faintly of wood and leather. You spit it out. Better to wait. Your stomach gurgles once. You ignore it. The ash is still on your tongue. You think of honey, of butter, of meat. But they are thoughts without shape, just shadows. You gather your pack, tighten the strap, lift your pole. The morning is almost ready to begin. So you stretch your shoulders, turn your eyes east, and wait for someone to tell you where to walk next. The straps bite into your shoulder as you hoist the pack into place. Not hard, just enough to remind you it's still there. The leather has grown stiff from days of sun and salt, cracked in the corners where it bends, darkened in patches from oil, sweat, and weather. You adjust the belt once, then again. The weight settles against your spine. Familiar now, not comfortable, just expected. You roll your shoulders gently, loosening the tightness along your neck. A thin trail of dust clings to the seam of your tunic, the thread bare where your collarbone rests beneath it. You run a finger along the edge, feeling the texture, not rough exactly, just worn. Everything here is worn. The tunic, the boots, the faces of the men around you. Even the sky feels tired. You begin walking before anyone gives a command. Just a slow drift forward, one pair of boots at a time. The others follow. The camp exhales. The canvas ripples one last time in the wind. Behind you, the smoke from the cooking stones thins into the gray. Ahead, the road, or what remains of it. A path carved not by stone or hand, but by repetition, by sandals pressing dust into memory. The earth is cracked in places, dry and flaking like old skin. You step carefully, heel first, then toe, testing for firmness beneath the layer of powder that coats everything. Dust floats upward with every footfall, clinging to your calves, your knees, your belt. It crawls up into the hem of your tunic and settles in the crease of your neck. The heat is slow this morning, crawling instead of rising. You feel it first beneath your arms, then across your back. Not fire yet, just breath. The kind of warmth that reminds you what the midday will bring. You squint ahead. There's no horizon, only haze. The road blurs into the sky, one pale color bleeding into another. Somewhere to your right, someone begins humming. No tune, just a low vibration, like a sound made to fill the silence. It breaks, then resumes, then breaks again. No one asks him to stop. Your sandals are slick from wear. The straps cut into the soft part of your foot. You shift them slightly, then walk on. Every few steps, you feel a small pinch on your heel Where the blister opened yesterday, it's not sharp anymore. Just persistent, like a reminder you are still flesh, still vulnerable, still breakable. You pass a cart that's half buried in dust. Its wheels are missing. A single rope dangles from the frame, swaying slightly with the breeze. You don't know how long it's been there. Days, weeks. No one remembers. No one tries to move it. It's become part of the landscape now. The man beside you clears his throat, spits. His beard is white at the chin. His knuckles are swollen. He doesn't speak. He just walks. You match his pace. A rhythm forms between you. Step, step, drag, step, step, drag. A pattern of shared fatigue. It becomes a kind of music. The air thickens, not moisture dust. It begins to lift with each movement, rising in little clouds that hover before settling again. You blink against it. Your eyes sting. You taste grit on your tongue. Feel it coat your teeth. You run your tongue over the roof of your mouth, but it doesn't help. Your water skin hangs at your hip, half full. You ignore it. There's still a long way to go. You pass a tree mall, stunted, bent toward the east like it's been leaning into the wind for 100 years. A strip of cloth is tied to its lowest branch, red. Once, now brown. A token, a marker, a grave. You don't look long. The sun is climbing now, slowly. It doesn't blaze. It looms. Pale light spills across your path, turning the dust a pale gold. It glints off helmets, off the tips of spears carried too long. The warmth on your shoulders becomes a pressure. Your pack presses deeper into your spine. You feel the sweat beginning behind your knees. A bead of it rolls down your ribs, catches in the waistband of your trousers, then disappears. Someone stumbles. A scuff, a grunt, a pause. Then motion resumes. No one helps. No one stops. The road moves on. You adjust your grip on the staff in your hand. It's smooth from use. Your calluses match the grain. You don't remember when you stopped feeling the splinters. You glance down at your feet dust-caked, bruised, ankles stiff from the morning chill. They carry you. That's enough. You pass a patch of grass, shriveled and dry. A fly buzzes nearby. You wave it away. It returns. You don't try again. The voices behind you begin to fade, not because they've stopped, but because you've stopped listening. The sound becomes background. Wind, breath, leather creaking, footsteps grinding powder into stone. You look up. The haze has not lifted. It never does. The land ahead is still empty, still wide, still waiting. You know you won't reach the next rest before midday. You know the heat will rise, the road will shimmer, the dust will deepen. You know your legs will ache, and your mouth will dry, and your eyes will blur. But still, you walk, because the road doesn't end. Not here. Not yet. Your shoulder is raw where the strap rubs. A patch of skin rubbed smooth by the sway of your pack. You shift the weight slightly, letting it settle into a new groove on your back. It doesn't help. The ache just moves with it. You walk anyway. Everyone does. The morning is opened into a pale blue dome above you, washed out. Empty. A sky that feels too large and too far from anything that breathes. Your hand drifts to your upper arm, fingers brushing the spot beneath your sleeve where the pilgrim's mark was burned into your skin months ago. The skin there is raised, hard, and faintly tender. You don't need to see it. You know the shape a simple cross, made with a heated rod in a dusty town whose name you've forgotten. You remember the sound more than the pain, the hiss of flesh, the priest's voice, the silence after. Everyone got one. A sign of your vow, a brand that promised you would go all the way. Some covered theirs after a while. Ashamed or unsure. You didn't. It's still there. Still warm when the heat rises. Still a reminder. The ground shifts beneath your feet pebbles now, scattered across hard-packed earth. Your ankle wobbles, then catches. The staff in your hand taps once, twice, finding rhythm again. The man in front of you has a slight limp. He favors his right leg, his gait uneven. You match it instinctively. It's easier that way. There's a breeze now, just enough to lift the edge of your cloak. It carries the dry smell of the road sweat, old canvas, and the strange scent of long-buried heat rising from the earth. Ahead, the column narrows. The road cuts between two mounds of stone rubble. Maybe ruins. You don't ask. You don't wonder. There's no room in your thoughts for history anymore. Just steps. Just breath. You glance toward the horizon. There's a line of trees far off, thin as charcoal scratches against the pale sky. They don't move. They don't draw closer. They might not even be real. You stop thinking about them. A shout echoes from the rear of the column, not angry, not urgent, just a voice calling someone's name. It fades quickly, swallowed by the dry air. No one answers. You loosen the binding around your wrist. It's cut into your skin slightly. The mark beneath it pulses. You close your eyes briefly, walking blind for 3 or 4 steps. It feels the same. The sun presses down harder now, filling the space behind your ears with a low, steady heat. Your tongue is thick. You taste metal. You don't drink yet. You count the remaining sips in your water skin like coin. You ration not just for thirst, but for the comfort of knowing there's something left. To your left, a boy, no older than 16, walks with a broken sandal, the sole flapping with each step. He ties it up with string every morning. By noon, it's loose again. He doesn't speak. He watches the ground like it's trying to trick him. Dust rises around his legs with every step, turning his ankles gray. Your own feet are beginning to blister again, new ones. This time, just below the toes. You curl them occasionally inside your boot, trying to shift the pressure. It works for a moment, then doesn't. You exhale slowly through your nose. One of your fingers is bleeding. You don't know when it started. You smear the blood against your cloak, then forget about it. The sun climbs higher. Shadows shrink. The world feels smaller, closer, like it's closing in around you. The road flattens. The stones disappear again. Just dirt now, dry and hot and fine enough to float. Your feet drag more than they lift. It doesn't matter. No one is moving quickly. Someone up ahead drops something a cup. Maybe. It clangs once against a rock, then rolls. No one picks it up. You pass another cross, this one carved into the side of a stone wall. Faded, shallow. A handprint beside it, smeared in old red clay. You think of the pilgrim's mark again. Yours burns slightly in the heat. You don't touch it. You begin counting your breaths. Softly, silently. 4 in, 4 out, 4 in, 4 out. It helps. Or maybe it doesn't. But it gives your mind something to hold. You feel the weight of your vows again. Not the prayer, or the words, or the ceremony. The real weight. The walking. The waiting. The endless road with no markers except pain. You remember how they said this would purify you. how the hardship was sacred. But now it just feels heavy, gritty, like the taste in your mouth and the pressure in your calves. Someone starts to sing behind you, a low voice, a slow tune, something Latin. The words blur, the voice fades. You don't know if the man stops singing or if the road simply pulls the sound away. Either way, silence returns. The dust thickens again. The ground becomes uneven. A small incline rises ahead. You brace your feet, leaning forward slightly. Your thighs protest. Your pack shifts. The wind drops. Sweat begins to pool beneath your arms. You reach the crest. Beyond it, the road continues. No surprise, no change, just more of the same. But for a moment, a breeze rises. It touches your face. It smells of olive leaves, of something distant, green. You close your eyes again. Let it pass. Let it carry the weight forward a few steps. You touch the mark on your arm, just once, and remember why you began. Then you walk. The sun is high now. It does not burn, not yet, but it presses. A steady weight from above, filtering through the pale sky in waves that shimmer over the road ahead. You feel it first on the back of your neck, then along the ridge of your spine. The cloth of your cloak clings damp to your shoulders. You shift it, hoping for air. There is none, only the dry breath of the wind. And it too is hot, and it too carries dust. There is no shade, not a scrap, no trees, no outcroppings of rock, not even the shadow of a bird. Just the sun and the road and the slow shuffle of sandals scraping against stone and sand. You no longer look for comfort. You no longer search the horizon for wells or tents or anything that might offer pause. You've learned that the road gives nothing easily, and when it does, it asks more in return. The man ahead of you has wrapped a rag around his head. It's soaked through. He drips as he walks. Sweat darkens the back of his tunic. His right arm hangs lower than the left. He's favoring something. But he hasn't fallen. Not yet. You watch him in silence, letting his pace guide yours. It's easier that way. Thinking takes more energy than you have to spend. The wind kicks up slightly, and the dust swirls in a thin spiral. It dances at your feet before rising to your knees. Your chest, your eyes. You blink. Feel grit slide beneath your lids. You rub them once. It makes it worse. You stop rubbing. The tears that come aren't sadness. They're your body's only defense against the sting. You let them fall. They leave clean lines across your cheeks, then vanish. You pass a stretch of broken ground cracks in the surface that run in long, shallow veins, a mosaic of thirst. Your boots crunch over the edge of one. A stone rolls out from under you. Your ankle twists slightly, but you catch yourself. Your calf tightens. The muscles quiver. You keep walking. Someone behind you is breathing too hard. You hear it, the dry rattle of lungs in a chest that's had too many mornings like this. The sound fades as they slow their pace. You don't look back. You've stopped looking back. You taste metal again, a raw, coppery tang. You think of blood, but you're not bleeding. You open your water skin and let a single mouthful spill onto your tongue. It's warm, slightly bitter. It tastes of old leather. You swallow. You do not drink more. The water is worth more than comfort. The road curves gently to the left. The horizon moves with it. A mirage glistens faintly in the distance, a shimmer that looks like water, but isn't. You've learned not to chase those glimmers. They always vanish as you near. like promises, like prayers unanswered. Your hands are beginning to swell. The heat collects there. Fingers stiffen. You flex them slowly, one by one. It helps. Barely. You switch your staff to the other side. Your grip is weaker in that hand. You don't care. The line of pilgrims stretches in both directions, figures moving in silence. Heads bowed, shoulders hunched, robes tugged by wind. No one speaks. No one sings. Even the priests have gone quiet. Their mouths are dry, their scrolls too heavy. A man drops to his knees beside the path. He doesn't fall. He lowers himself with care, as if kneeling to pray. But there is no altar here, no chapel, only dust. His hands hang limp at his sides. His breathing is shallow. You pass him without stopping. So does everyone else. This is what the road does. It teaches you what to leave behind. You reach a patch of uneven ground where the stones shift beneath your weight. You place each foot carefully, slowly. Your thighs burn. Your lower back sings with pain. You lean forward. One hand reaches to brace against your knee. Your body is folding, slowly, carefully, into endurance. The wind dies again. The sun grows stronger. The color of the sky changes slightly, still pale, but tinged now with gold. You know what that means. Midday is close. The heat will peak soon. The march may slow, if you're lucky. The leaders will call for a brief stop. If not, the walk will continue through the worst of it. A voice near you breaks the silence. Do you remember snow? You glance sideways. A woman walks there, hood low over her brow. You don't know her name. Her eyes are bloodshot, her lips cracked, but her voice is calm, dry, like leaves rubbed between fingers. You think of snow. You think of the crunch underfoot, the way it silences everything, the way breath curls in clouds from your nose, the sharp bite of wind through hair, the sting in your fingers that you used to hate. You nod. Once, then continue walking. She doesn't speak again. The dust begins to coat your eyelashes. You blink slowly. The world takes a moment to sharpen. A few paces ahead, a child stumbles. A man catches her, lifts her, carries her. His own knees buckle slightly under the weight, but he doesn't stop. No one offers to help. They know he won't ask. You reach the highest point of a small rise. From here, the land opens vast, bare, lifeless. The road winds through it like a crack in a plate. There is no oasis, no camp, no tree, no cloud. Only the road, only the heat, only you, and the mark in the dust your body leaves behind. You arrive at the camp just as the sun begins to sag behind a wall of lightless sky. Not golden, not soft, just dimming. The heat hasn't left, not yet, but the pressure has shifted. It no longer leans into you, it lingers, like a thought you can't quite let go of. Your legs are unsteady now, not from pain, but from repetition. They move without you asking. They slow only when others slow. And then, finally, someone raises a hand and the line stops. The camp is already half formed. Tents raised quickly, loosely, pegs driven into the dust, ropes pulled tight between stakes and stones, canvas sagging where wind once lived. It all folds together in silence. No commands, no coordination, just practice. You find your place in open patch near the edge of the cluster. You drop your pack with a low grunt. Your spine lengthens. The pressure in your lower back throbs once, then settles. You unroll the mat then, crumpled, always damp near the center. You smooth it with your hands, pressing out imaginary creases. You won't sleep yet, not for hours. But this part always comes first. You sit down slowly, drawing your cloak tight. The evening wind picks up and threads through the camp like a whisper. It brings with it the smell of men unwashed, exhausted, stripped of everything but motion, sweat, leather, oil, and something sharper beneath, something that smells of fear, of resolve, of bodies trying not to fall apart. Around you, the tents are full of murmurs, not voices raised, just fragments, a cough here, a muttered prayer, the rattle of a flask, the rustle of skin against cloth. Inside those tents are stories you'll never hear, pain you'll never know, names you'll never be given. You don't need to hear them. It's enough to be among them, sharing the same dirt, the same silence, the same breathless fatigue. Someone walks past your spot, barefoot, their toes dragging through the powdery soil. Their eyes are downcast, but their mouth moves. You can't hear the words. You don't want to. They disappear into a nearby tent, and their shadow follows. You lean your head back. Look up. The sky has flattened into a slate-colored sheet. No stars yet, just that heavy veil, the kind that promises a cold night, a long one. You lower your gaze. Nearby, a man tightens the cords of his tent, his hands trembling with the effort. You watch him fumble once, then finish the knot. His knees buckle slightly as he stands. He doesn't notice. He moves inside and pulls the flap shut. You breathe deeply. Your chest rises. There's dust in your lungs. You don't cough. You just let it sit there, part of you now, like the calluses on your palms or the hollow ache in your thighs. Your eyes drift toward the central fire, if it can be called that. Just a few blackened logs arranged in a ring of stones. The flame is small, flickering. A child tends it, stirring coals with a twig. He wears no shoes. His toes are raw. His expression is blank. The man beside him chews a piece of bread. Slowly, deliberately. It's hard. His teeth click faintly against the crust. He doesn't look up. The bread crumbles more than it breaks. You taste it even from here. You reach for your own rations. A pouch, a strip of dried meat, a slice of flatbread wrapped in cloth. You tear it gently, holding it between your thumbs, like something sacred. You chew without thought. Your jaw moves. Your tongue turns the bread over, looking for moisture that isn't there. You swallow. It scrapes. You drink only a sip, enough to wet your throat. Behind you, a tent wall shifts. Someone inside rolls over. The canvas crackles. A voice follows. Low, muffled. Are you awake? Another voice answers. Even lower. Yes. Then silence. No more questions. Just the weight of awareness. You lie back slowly. The mat is rough beneath you. The ground uneven. A pebble presses against your shoulder blade. You shift. It stays. You let it. Let it remind you where you are. Let it keep you here. A sound, recessa, soft one. Someone humming. It's coming from one of the tents across the fire. You can't see the face, just a shadow behind the canvas. Their outline shifting gently with the music. The tune is old. Maybe from home. Maybe from a time before roads and dust and vows. It doesn't last long. The song fades like breath. The voice goes quiet. The shape behind the tent stills. You close your eyes, but the world doesn't vanish. You still feel the heat of the fire, distant and small. You still smell ash and salt and the sharpness of cracked leather. You still hear the voices behind canvas too, soft to make out, but enough to know they're real. You breathe in. You hold it. You breathe out. and the night thickens around you, settling like a second skin. There are no stars, only the hush of bodies that walk too far, and the quiet company of those still breathing beside you in the dark. You do not remember falling asleep, only that at some point, the voices behind the canvas had faded into the wind, and the weight of your limbs became heavier than thought, heavier than the ache in your joints, heavier than the night itself. And now, without warning, you're awake again, not fully, not with sharpness, but with that quiet alertness born of a hard life on the road. You do not move at first. You listen. The night has softened. The fire is out. The air is cooler now, clinging to your skin with a dampness that hints at morning. You blink once, twice. The sky above you, slowly turning from black to gray. Somewhere nearby, a tent rustles. A voice speaks, not a shout, but low, dry, firm. A name, then another, then get up. The iron word, the command, the same one every morning. It's not barked, not cruel, just hard and final. A word that does not wait for questions. You sit up slowly, rolling your shoulders beneath the stiff cloth. Every muscle protests. Your back feels as if it were carved from wood. You stretch your arms, your fingers, wincing at the tightness in your knuckles. You breathe deeply. The morning carries no scent except earth damp, cold and tired. No breakfast, no fire. Not yet. First, the march. You gather your things, small, careful motions. You roll the mat, tie the strap, lift the pack. The straps groan as they settle across your shoulders. The same raw spot flares up again. You adjust it. It doesn't help. The ground beneath your feet is damp where your body warmed it in sleep. Your boots are cold, hard, brittle at the seams. You flex your toes inside them, testing the leather. It holds, barely. The calluses on your heels throb as you stand. You bite the inside of your cheek, not from pain, but from memory. The road always feels longer when your feet are still dry. Around you, the others begin to rise, some silently, like shadows slipping out of tents, others with groans, joints cracking, curses muttered into the wind. A man wraps his leg in cloth, pulling it tight around a swollen knee. A woman rinses her face with the last of her water. Two children help one another fasten belts. There is no talking, only motion, routine. The iron word has already worked its way into the marrow of this camp. The priest appears then. He stands beside the old chapel post, the one with the faded red cloth tied at the top. His robe is travel-stained, frayed at the cuffs. He says nothing. He simply stands there, hands folded, eyes scanning the weary figures preparing to move. You know he waits for the last one to rise before he begins. You know what will come next. You tighten the belt at your waist, pull your hood higher, feel the pole in your grip. Its wood is cold, familiar, a part of your morning ritual now, not a weapon, not a tool, just something to hold when you are too tired to carry the silence alone. A boy begins to cry, not loud, not wild, just a slow leaking of sound. He clutches a broken sandal and stares at his foot. The skin is raw. His mother crouches, wraps it with cloth. Her hands are quick, but gentle. She doesn't scold him. She doesn't hush him. She just works. She lifts him onto her back. He wraps his arms around her neck. She stands. The crying stops. The priest lifts his hand. And then the prayer. Not sung. Not loud. Just spoken. A string of words worn smooth by use. Words that barely mean anything anymore. Words that fall not as instruction, not as blessing, but as rhythm, as a way to keep moving. Lord of the road, carry what we cannot. Keep those who fall. Feed those who hunger. Let the dust not blind us. Let the sun not burn us. Let the end come when it will. There is no amen. Just silence after. That's the iron word. It says go, and you go. The camp breaks in silence. Tents lowered, ropes coiled, blankets tied, packs lifted, one by one. Bodies turn east. Feet begin to move. The sound of sandals on soft earth returns soft. Slow, dragging at first, then stronger, more certain. The rhythm of motion. You fall into the line without thought. Your place finds you, behind a man with a crooked staff, in front of a woman who sings beneath her breath. You walk. The sun is not yet visible, but the light has changed. The sky grows brighter, losing its stars, stretching wide with pale promise. The road ahead is familiar, the same flat stretch, the same low horizon, the same thin line of dust waiting to rise. As you walk, your body begins to separate from itself. Your feet become something distant, something mechanical. Your shoulders hunch under the weight without complaint. Your breath finds its rhythm, and the ache in your joints fades, not from healing, but from forgetting. The air begins to warm. A single bird calls in the distance. One note, repeated, then silence. You pass a shrine stones piled beside a broken tree, a piece of cloth tied to a branch, and a small carving of a face so worn it could be anyone. A handprint in dried mud marks the base. Someone touches it as they pass. You do not. A man ahead drops something as spoon. He stoops, picks it up, dusts it with his sleeve, and keeps walking. The man behind him does not pause. The line moves on. You feel the word still in your ears. That single syllable. Go. It follows you now. Not a command. A condition. You walk beneath it, inside it, until the sky grows brighter and the dust rises again. The day has opened fully now. Though no one marks the hour, there is no clock, no bell, no sundial in the dirt, just the way the light sharpens around the edges of your vision, the way heat finds the back of your neck and stays there, the way shadows shrink and sounds flatten into silence. The march is steady, 1 foot forward, 1 breath in. You do not speak. No one does. Words are too large for this hour. What passes between you all is something smaller. Weightless glances, the crunch of feet, the sway of cloaks, the subtle tilt of heads when someone stumbles, and always the road beneath you, stretching long and pale, riddled with small stones that find the soft places in your step. Your staff thumps lightly against the ground, a rhythm so ingrained now that your hand tightens without thinking. You walk without needing to steer. The body knows. The land is flat Hirlo hills in the distance, colorless shrubs crouched against the earth, as if hiding from the sun. There is no green, no birdsong, just space, just dust, then a change. It comes slowly. First, a figure on the horizon, nothing more than a speck, a blur against the sky. Then 2, then 5, then shape, a small rise ahead, a gathering. As the line moves closer, the details emerge. Not a camp, not a village, just a cross, large, made of bone, or wood carved to look like it, weathered, sun-bleached, tied together with leather cords. It leans slightly, one leg sunk deep in the soil. Around it, stones piled high, hundreds of them, hand-sized, mismatched, arranged in a wide circle like a mouth trying to speak. A place of pause, a shrine, a warning. No one explains it. No one points. But as each pilgrim passes, they move differently. Slower, straighter, eyes down, shoulders squared. You feel the change too. Something quiet. Something pulled tight beneath the ribs. You approach. You smell the dust, the sweat, the faint, sharp trace of old incense burned here long ago. You see objects placed at the base, a broken comb, a cracked bowl, a child's sandal bound with twine, the husk of a dried pomegranate, offerings, proof, stories too tired to be told. You do not stop, but as you pass, your hand moves to your chest, not a gesture of faith, just memory. The mark on your arm itches beneath your sleeve. You walk on. The sun is higher now. The heat has found its stride. You feel it under your arms, behind your knees, in the curve of your lower back, where sweat pools and soaks into cloth. Your breath is warm as it leaves your lips. You begin to count again steps this time. 10, 20, 30. Then start over. It keeps the world small, manageable. The road widens slightly, then narrows again. A fork appears, a lesser path, winding toward a dried-up stream bed, marked with stones, then vanishing into scrub. No one takes it. The whole column moves forward, as if bound by an invisible thread. The bone cross disappears behind you. Later, a man ahead collapses to one knee. His pack slips from his shoulder and spills open clothes. Rope, a carved cup, a cracked vial. He kneels, unmoving, head bowed. A second man helps him gather the things, but they do not speak. A third tightens the pack and lifts it. The first man does not protest. He stands slowly, trembling, and takes only his staff. The three continue walking. You reach a bend in the road. The dust changes here finer, whiter. It coats your boots like flour. Your feet sink slightly with each step. The air tastes different too. Still dry, but tinged with something else, something metallic. You think of iron. You think of dried blood. You do not speak it, but others smell it too. You see it in their faces. Their pace falters, briefly, then steadies. On the side of the path, a tree leans low. Its branches are bare. From one limb hangs a string of objects' wooden tokens, pieces of cloth, carved beads, and bones. They sway in the breeze, a soft, hollow tapping as they knock together. A man ahead reaches out and touches the trunk as he passes. His fingers leave a dark smear. He keeps walking. The day grows heavier. The light has become thick, pressing against your eyes. You blink often. Your mouth is dry. Your stomach feels hollow. The bread from morning has long since left you. Your water skin is nearly empty. You ration what remains one sip every 2 hours, maybe longer. Your legs ache, but not in sharpness. More like pressure, like stone worn slowly by wind. Still, you walk. The pilgrims around you are quieter now, if that's possible. Some walk with heads bowed, others with eyes closed. One man walks with his lips moving, silently, as if reciting. You wonder what his voice sounds like, if he remembers it, if he hears it only in his head. You check your pace. Behind you, the line stretches, blurred by heat. Ahead, the road bends again, toward a rise you've not seen before. You squint. The heat shimmers. Something waits there. Not a village, not a tree. A wall, low, crumbling, stone upon stone. A place to rest, or to be told you cannot. You do not hope for shelter, only for something different than walking. Your staff is warm in your grip now, slick with sweat. You switch hands again. Your fingers are blistered. your nails ringed with grime. You don't remember the last time you felt clean. You pass another mark, this one carved into the road itself. A circle, a line through it. A sign only a few might understand. You do not ask. The questions are gone now. Only motion remains. Breath, dust, skin, and the knowledge that something waits, always waits, just ahead, just beyond the bone cross, and the next rise, and the next bend, and the next silence too deep to name. The wall came and went, just stones stacked without mortar, half fallen, half forgotten. No one stopped. No one spoke of it. It passed like everything else passes quietly, without ceremony, absorbed into the day like a breath held too long. And now the road stretches again, longer than before, flatter, wider, and somehow quieter, not in sound, but in feeling, as if the world has pressed cotton into its ears and told it to hush. You walk inside that hush. Everyone does. Even the footsteps have dulled. Even the wind seems afraid to speak. You move with the column, but you no longer notice the people beside you. Their faces have blurred, smoothed by heat and repetition. You know their shapes, the way their shoulders roll, the length of their stride. You know the way they carry themselves, tilted slightly from pain or habit or some memory they refuse to set down. But their names have faded. Perhaps you never knew them. Perhaps they no longer matter. The only sound is the rhythm of steps, dozens of them, falling not in unison, but in a kind of accidental agreement. Sandals drag across dust, cloth sways, a stick clicks against a stone. Then silence again. This is not the silence of peace. It is the silence of waiting, of enduring, of moving, not because you choose to, but because stopping would hurt more than walking ever could. Your feet feel thin now, like the soles are wearing through to something beneath them. Every step sends a whisper of pain through your legs. Not sharp, not deep, just constant. A presence. The heat has settled into your bones, not scorching, but steady. Your skin is tight with dried sweat, your eyes dry, your throat like wool. You think of water again. The flask at your side is lighter than it was this morning. Too light. You don't touch it. The world narrows to the road and the dust that rises with each step. That dust floats upward in slow, spiraling tendrils. As if the road is exhaling, it settles on your lips, your eyelids, your fingertips. You've stopped wiping it away. What's the point? It will return. It always does. You look down at your hands. The veins stand out. The knuckles are scraped. The lines in your palm are filled with grit. There is a small cut between your thumb and forefinger. It stings with every movement. You close your fist around your staff. The pain grows quiet. You let it stay. Somewhere behind you, a voice coughs, a dry sound. Nothing follows. Ahead, the horizon has flattened again. The land stretches without rise or promise. You know you will not stop soon. The breaks are fewer now, the road longer, the water rarer. You do not ask how much farther. No one asks. The word distance has become meaningless. What matters is the step in front of you, and the one after that, nothing else. You begin to count again. Not steps, not breaths, just numbers. 1, 2, 3. A kind of prayer without words. A way to mark the passing of time without knowing how much you've lost. To your left, a man walks with a limp. You've seen him before. His right foot drags slightly, making a soft brushing sound every other step. His arm hangs low, a cloth wrapped around his elbow. He's not young. His beard is gray, his face lined like cracked leather. He does not speak. You match his pace for a while, then slowly pull ahead. He does not notice. You pass a patch of ground where the stones are arranged in a ring. Not large, just enough to mark that someone once stopped here. A fire. Maybe. A grave. A camp now long abandoned. A faded scrap of cloth hangs from a stake in the center. It flutters once, then falls still. You do not stop to look closer. The sun hangs overhead like a watcher. It does not move. It does not offer warmth, only weight. Your shoulders droop beneath it. Your spine curls slightly. You shift your pack again, but the straps dig the same way they always do. You've stopped adjusting them. You've stopped believing they could sit comfortably. Ahead, a woman begins to hum, soft, tuneless, a breath more than a melody. It carries only a few paces before fading into the heat. But it startles something in you, a memory. Maybe a fire, a room, laughter. You don't chase it. Let it fade. You begin to feel the dust in your teeth now. It scratches when you swallow. Your tongue is heavy. You chew on it slightly, out of habit. The taste is bitter. Your lips are cracked. You run your tongue over them. The skin splits. You don't flinch. The silence deepens. It presses. You think of night. You think of how the canvas tents breathe in the wind, how the voices behind them rise and fall. You think of sleep, not as a promise, as an idea, something distant, unreal, something that belongs to someone else. The ground begins to rise barely. A slope, gentle, but your legs feel it. The pace slows. The line stretches. Some falter. You do not. You lean forward slightly, press through it. Your breath becomes shorter. Your chest tightens. You keep walking. At the top, the wind returns, faint, dry, but real. It brushes your face, lifts your cloak, carries the sweat from your forehead. You close your eyes for 2 steps, then open them. The road continues. Of course it does. Someone behind you stumbles. A curse, a pause, then motion resumes. The dust swirls. The staff in your hand leaves a faint line behind you, and still, no one speaks, because the silence now is not empty. It is full of everything no one dares to say. The slope ends, but your legs don't trust it. They still tense with every step, waiting for the next rise, the next angle, the next unseen demand. But the road evens out, flattens. The sky lightens toward a strange, pale blue, more light than color, more distance than hope. Ahead, someone raises an arm, not high, just enough to signal something. No words, but the ripple it causes is real. Heads turn, feet shift. The column slows. A shape rises in the haze, not large, not beautiful, just square stone. Half collapsed, half buried, the mouth of a well. You feel it before you see it clearly. The change in the air, cooler, damp at the edges. Your tongue moves against your teeth, searching for what's not there. Your throat clenches. Your fingers tighten around the strap of your flask, as if afraid someone might see the thirst written in your bones. The well comes into view. Rough stone piled waist-high. The edges worn smooth from hands that came before yours. A single beam of wood crosses over the mouth. The rope beside it frayed but still intact. The bucket is simple, bent metal, patched with a strip of boiled leather. It dangles like a promise. There is no line, no order, only a slow, quiet drift, one by one. They come forward. A man cranks the rope. The pulley groans. The bucket vanishes into shadow. A few heartbeats later, splash. Not loud. Not clean. A soft, wet sound, like something heavy falling into silence. You wait. You watch. Your feet shuffle forward. Your pack resting low on your back. Your breath shallow. Eyes on the lip of the well, like it might disappear if you blink. The man lifts the bucket. It comes slow, jerking. The water inside sloshes brown gold. Not clear, not cold, but wet. They dip their hands, bow their heads. Some pour it over their necks, their wrists. A few fill flasks. Others don't. They just drink. Deep, greedy, then wipe their mouths on dust-stained sleeves and move on. You step forward, closer. The well is before you now. The stone is warm under your palms, rough in places, smooth in others. You lower your flask. You wait for the next pull, the next bucket. It comes. You don't care who draws it. You dip your vessel into the brackish water. It's heavy in your hand. You raise it to your lips. The first sip tastes of metal, like rust, like blood, like coins kept too long in your mouth. You drink again. You don't stop until it's empty. Then you fill it once more. You wet your fingers, rub the dust from your eyelids, from behind your ears. The water runs down your forearms. It dries in seconds. Gone. You sit at the base of the well for a moment, just to sit, to not be walking. Your thighs throb. Your knees feel hollow. The earth beneath you is warm. A breeze moves through the space. Not strong, but enough to shift your cloak. You close your eyes. There is murmuring behind you. Someone is praying again. Soft, Latin. You do not listen. Your mind drifts to a field, a river, a hand on your shoulder. Years ago, laughter, bread, the sound of bells, the taste of clean water. You open your eyes. You rise slowly. Your legs complain, but obey. The line is moving again, away from the well. No one stays long. The sun does not wait. The dust returns. The thirst waits at the edge of every step. You sling your flask across your chest. The water inside is warm already. You know it won't last the day. You walk on, past the well, past the shadow it leaves on the road. You do not look back, but you remember the taste of iron. The road stretches ahead like it always does, straight, bleached, pulsing with heat that rises in shimmering waves just above the dirt. The well is behind you now, its shape already shrinking into a memory, its cool shadow swallowed by the sun. Your steps are heavier again. The water in your flask sloshes softly as you walk. You hold it close to your chest, feeling its weight with every sway of your stride. You don't drink? Not yet. You ration it the way a priest rations hope sparingly, quietly, with eyes cast downward. The horizon lies flat and wide before you. Somewhere out there, they said there would be a city, a place of rest, a city promised, with walls of stone, markets thick with fruit and cloth and salt, wells deep and sweet, courtyards shaded by fig trees, a city where your feet could forget the road, and your arms could forget the weight of the staff, and your thoughts could be simple again. You were told you would see its towers first, long before you reached it, that their shadows would rise like hands out of the dust and guide you forward. But there is nothing, just sky, just heat, just the vague suggestion of shapes that vanish the closer you come. Someone behind you mutters, "Is that it?" You don't answer. You don't even look. You've heard it before. You've asked it yourself. A dozen times. 100. It's never been true. What you see in the distance is just a fold in the land, or a bank of light bent the wrong way by dust. You know that now. Your boots are splitting. You feel the seam in your left heel give way. It flaps slightly with each step. You stop briefly to wrap a strip of cloth around it tight. Careful. You use the last of the clean bandage you had. It will hold for now. You stand. Continue. The sun presses harder against the top of your head. You lower your hood. The fabric itches. Your neck stings where the sweat has dried and left salt behind. Your shoulders sag. The pack rides low against your spine. You shift it forward. It doesn't help. You carry on. The ground begins to change beneath your feet. Less dust, more stone. Not cobbled, not built, just harder. The kind of earth that has been walked over so long it no longer yields. The sound of your steps changes, duller, quieter. You look down and see the bones of old stones worn flat, carved faintly by weather and weight. You wonder how many have walked this path before you. You wonder how many ever reach the city. You wonder if it exists beside you. A woman stumbles. Her staff slips from her hand. She catches herself, kneels. A man reaches to help her up. She waves him away. She rises slowly, breathing hard. Her sandals are tied with rope. One is soaked in blood. She doesn't stop. Neither do you. A vulture wheels overhead. One, then two. Silent wings moving slowly through the heat. You watch them for a while. Their shadows do not reach the ground. They glide toward the horizon, toward the city that never comes. The air smells strange now, faintly sour, like something spoiled. You check your flask. It's warm, but still clean. You take a single sip. Let it rest on your tongue. Swallow. The liquid feels like oil sliding down your throat. It's better than nothing. Someone ahead of you starts to sing. The voice is hoarse, the melody broken. The words slur. It doesn't matter. The sound drifts back like smoke. It wraps around your ribs, slows your heart, then fades. You blink. Your vision blurs. The land ahead rises slightly. A slow incline. You climb without thinking. Your feet are wooden. Your breath shallow. Your fingers tingling. At the crest. You pause. You see it again. There far in the distance. The shimmer. The shape. The suggestion of something. Domes, towers. You can't tell. You squint. Raise a hand against the sun. The mirage pulses once, then fades. Gone. Again. You exhale slowly, deeply. You feel something inside you hollow out a little more. You look around. No one says a word. No one points. They saw it too, and they know better than to believe it. You descend the hill. You keep walking. You lower your head. The staff taps steadily in time with your pace. Step, tap, step, tap. You count again, this time, backwards. 199.98. And still, the road continues, and still, the city does not come. Your voice used to carry. You remember that, long ago, on the earlier roads, when your body still belonged to you. When the mornings came with songs, and evenings ended in breathless laughter pressed beneath canvas. Now, even the air feels too thick to move sound through. You hum softly, without realizing it at first. Just a single note. No melody. No shape. It slips past your cracked lips like steam. Rising. Fading. You catch yourself, then continue. Not because the song matters, but because silence grows too heavy without it. Around you, others murmur. Some talk to themselves. Others mouth prayers without sound. It's not madness, just memory. The tongue, remembering the shape of old comfort. The body aching to hear something that isn't footfall, breath, or wind through torn cloth. You pass an old man sitting on a low stone. He's not dead, not resting, just still. His legs stretched before him, hands folded neatly in his lap. His mouth is open. He sings something you don't know. The tune bends, trembles, flattens, rises again. His voice cracks. You do not stop. No one does. But you listen as you pass. His song follows you a few steps, then disappears. The road narrows again, just a little, enough to force you closer to those around you. You feel their heat, the brush of cloaks. A shoulder grazes yours and doesn't pull away. You don't mind. The contact is strange, almost welcome. It reminds you that you are not walking alone. Even if no one speaks your name, your feet are bleeding. You know it without looking. The burn is deeper now, like fire living beneath your skin. You shift your weight, favor your right side. You've been doing that for hours, maybe days. You no longer remember. The blister burst long ago. What remains is raw, open, wet. You press on. Someone begins to weep, softly, somewhere behind you. Not the loud weeping of despair, just small, controlled sobs. They come at intervals, between breaths, between steps. You do not turn. You do not need to see. You've wept before? Everyone has. Some do it once and never again. Others do it every time the road stretches longer than memory. You let the sound pass through you, like wind, like a song with no tune. Your mouth is dry again. You reach for the flask, just one sip, a shallow pull. It sticks to your throat like honey, too thick, too warm, but it's water. You cap the flask tightly. You don't know when you'll be able to fill it again. The sun begins to shift, not downward yet, but softer now. The edge of the light turns gold instead of white. Shadows return, slowly. They stretch beneath your feet, behind stones, beside your staff. The world begins to breathe again, slightly. You can feel it in your lungs, the difference, just enough to move without collapse. A boy beside you hums. It's different than your tune, higher, clearer. His lips barely move. The sound is gentle, comforting. You don't know the melody, but it matches the rhythm of your steps. You hum again, lower, together. You create a harmony that never fully forms. And then, just as quietly, he stops. His pace slows. You walk on. A dog follows the column, thin, silent, light on its feet. You saw it earlier that morning. Now it's back. Its ribs pressed tight against its fur. Its tongue hangs sideways. It watches no one in particular. It walks alongside, not too close, like it belongs to the road more than to the people walking it. You wonder if it started the journey like you full, fresh, chosen, or if it came from some abandoned camp, some village that sent no one home. Someone sings again, this time in a language you don't speak. The words are thick, slow. They sound like they come from the earth. The voice is deep, steady. It echoes slightly in the open. You close your eyes for 3 steps. The tune rocks you. Then it ends. You walk into a patch of dry grass. It crunches beneath your feet. You can smell it sharp, brittle, a welcome change from dust. A single tree stands ahead, bent, leafless, covered in rags. Someone tied them there, white, brown, some new, some old. They flap in the breeze like voices that forgot their lyrics. You do not stop, but your head tilts, just slightly. In acknowledgement, the ground shifts again, softer, smoother, almost comfortable. You take a breath. It's easier than the one before. You look ahead. The road still runs forward. The city is still a rumor. The day is not done, but for a while. The silence carries music, and even without a tune, the songs remain. The pain isn't sharp anymore. It's steady, full. It wraps itself around your legs, your back, the soles of your feet, and settles in, like a companion, like something you've come to expect. There is no beginning to it now, and no end only the middle, stretched wide like the road beneath you. Every step is the same as the last, a slow press into dust, a weight that shifts forward, a muscle that begs quietly but still obeys. You do not limp, not because it doesn't hurt, but because there's no use in favoring one ache over another. You walk with your hands low, fingers curled just slightly, stiff with sun and grit. The cut between your thumb and forefinger has split wider. You felt it tear when you tightened your flask earlier. Now it stings with each swing of your arm. You ignore it. The salt from your sweat has begun to seep into it. It burns like fire. You grit your teeth. You walk. The man beside you breathes in rhythm with your steps. You don't know his name. You've walked beside him for 2 days, maybe more. His robe is stained at the hem, and one of his sandals is wrapped with copper wire. He carries nothing but a walking stick, smooth and pale from use. He doesn't speak. Neither do you. You just breathe together, a silent pact between strangers. The sun is beginning its descent now. Not fast, not dramatic, just enough to change the color of things. The sky yellows. The dust glows at the edges. Shadows return to faces. It doesn't bring relief, just reminder that you've made it this far, that you'll need to stop soon, that the night will be cold again. You pass a body. It's old, not recent, half covered by a faded cloak. The bones are thin, the fingers still curled toward the chest, as if they held something when the final breath left. You do not stop. No one does. You lower your gaze. You walk past with silence. The road does not allow for ceremony, only motion. Your foot catches on a root. You stumble. Your body reacts before your mind. You catch yourself with your staff, knees bending, shoulders tightening. The jolt sends pain through your hip. You curse under your breath, not from anger, just reflex. You straighten, continue. You do not look around to see who noticed. Your tongue scrapes against the roof of your mouth. You take a sip of water, small, measured. Your lips crack as you drink. The salt stings. You lick them once. Taste iron. Maybe blood. You keep walking. Ahead. The land begins to dip, a long, shallow curve between 2 low hills. The dust collects there. It floats like smoke. You can't see where it ends. The sun cuts through it, glowing red. The wind picks up, just slightly, enough to stir your cloak, to dry the sweat along your spine. You inhale deeply. It smells like heat, like stone, like something forgotten. Someone cries out, not in fear, not in warning, just pain. A sharp, single sound, then silence. No one stops. Pain is as common as breathing now. It speaks, then fades. The man beside you shifts his weight slightly. His hand clenches around his stick. That's all. You walk through the hollow. The dust thickens. It coats your tongue, fills your ears. You blink against it. Feel it cling to your lashes. You don't bother wiping it away. It's part of you now. You walk inside it like fog, like memory. Each breath is dry. Each step is slow. But still, you move. The cut in your hand throbs. You open your fingers briefly. Let the air touch the wound. It stings worse. You close your hand again. The salt has settled deep. It will stay. You crest the next rise. Ahead. The road flattens once more. The light is red now long. Low. Soft around the edges. The day is giving up. The heat begins to recede. Camp is close. You can feel it. Not see it. Just know. The way the pace shifts. The way heads begin to lift. The way someone ahead pulls their cloak tighter, preparing for the chill. You reach for your water skin. It's nearly empty. You drink the last of it. Let it sit in your mouth before you swallow. The warmth of it is familiar, comforting in its own strange way. The salt still burns in your wound. You don't flinch. You just walk and wait for the world to stop moving long enough for the ache to settle. The camp is not a place. Not really. It's not marked on any map, nor is it chosen. It simply happens when the bodies can't carry the road any further, when the shadows grow too long, when the column starts to slow without anyone saying why. It begins with one person setting down their pack, then another, then 10 more, and soon the stillness spreads, settling into the dust like dew. You arrive with the rest, feet heavy, throat hollow. The last light of the day, bleeding red behind the hills. There is no welcome, no fire, only the act of stopping. You sink to the ground slowly, easing your knees into the dry earth. You let your pack roll from your back with a dull thump. The ache in your shoulders flares and fades. You stretch your legs out in front of you and stare at your feet. The left boot is dark with blood now. The cloth you tied earlier has slipped. You won't fix it yet. Not now. Someone nearby unwraps a bundle. Bread. Hard. Gray with dust. It cracks in their hands. They chew without blinking. Eyes low. Movements automatic. You do the same. Your rations are wrapped in a strip of cloth that once held better food. Now it smells of old oil and sweat. Inside, a single crust of bread and a handful of dry beans. You turn them in your palm. They rattle like stones. You eat slowly. Each bean is hard, dry, like biting pebbles. Your molars ache. You press your tongue against the roof of your mouth, trying to soften them. It doesn't help. You swallow. The bread follows. It scratches all the way down. No one talks during this meal. There is nothing to say. This is the feast of stones, the dinner that reminds you your mouth still works. Your jaw still moves. Your belly still empties. The taste is nothing. The texture is punishment. But it fills the space where hunger lives. And that is enough. A child cries a few tents away. The sound is small, tired. The mother hushes him with a voice that is more breath than words. You hear the rustling of blankets, the creak of fabric stretched tight. Someone is already asleep, or trying to be. You chew more slowly now, each bite followed by a pause. You listen to your own breathing, to the creaking of your knees as you shift, to the whisper of sand on sandals as others settle nearby. One man eats on his knees, head bowed, as if praying between bites. Another sucks his fingers after every bean, savoring the salt left behind. The sun has dipped fully now. The sky is indigo. No fire is lit. Fire draws eyes. Fire wastes fuel. Fire is for places that feel safe. This is not one of them. The stars begin to appear. 1, then 3, then 10. You look up. They shimmer faintly, as if ashamed of their own brightness. You do not count them. You just let them fill the corners of your vision. Their light doesn't reach the ground, but it makes the darkness less hungry. Your water is gone. Your hands are empty. You wipe the crumbs from your lap. Brush the bean skins from your fingers. The wind stirs a little. It smells of cold stone and sweat. A man coughs. Another spits. Someone tightens a belt to hold their ribs in place as they lie down. You lie back too. The earth is uneven. A rock digs into your shoulder. You move. It digs into your hip instead. You stop moving. You fold your cloak over your chest. The warmth from the day is leaving your body. Your skin cools in patches, first the arms, then the ankles, then the space behind your neck. You feel it happening. The slow withdrawal of heat, the slow fading of the day. Your eyes stay open, not because you want them to, because closing them would mean letting go. And part of you wants to hold on to this moment, this silence after walking, this stillness after pain, this feast of stones that proves you are still here, still hungry, still human. You wake to color before sound. The inside of your eyelids glows with eta dull, deep red that pulses, as if lit from behind by coals. For a moment, you think it is still night, that someone has lit a fire too close. You open your eyes slowly, and the world is changed. The sky is burning, not with flame, not with smoke, just with light. A deep red stretching from horizon to horizon, cloudless and heavy, like the whole sky has been stained in blood and left to dry. It is not sunrise, not yet. The sun is still waiting, just below the lip of the earth, but its coming has been announced with this strange, silent fire above you. You sit up slowly. Your body creaks like old leather. You feel the cold still in your fingers, the ache still in your knees. Your mouth is dry, cracked, sticky with the sour taste of sleep. You do not speak. No one does. Around you, others are stirring shapes shifting beneath cloaks, arms emerging from blankets, eyes blinking toward the red sky. A man to your left sits cross-legged, staring upward with his hands on his knees. He says nothing. He just watches, as if waiting for the sky to fall. A woman behind you crosses herself. She does it slowly, not from ritual, but from something quieter like apology. There is no breeze. The air hangs still, thick, heavy in your lungs. You breathe carefully. Each inhale feels like drawing smoke. You stand, slowly. Your feet protest. The wound on your heel has stiffened in the cold. You limp for a step, then another. Then the pain folds itself back into your stride. You do not notice it again. The camp stirs with the same pace, slow, measured, resigned. A rustle of canvas, a few murmurs, the soft clatter of a wooden cup against stone. No one rushes, no one smiles. You pack your things by habit, not by need. Every motion is silent, your cloak folded, your mat rolled, your belt pulled tight. Your hands are shaking slightly. You don't know why. Hunger, maybe, or the cold, or the sky. Someone near the center of the camp begins to pray. Their voice is low, hoarse, ragged at the edges. The words are in Latin, familiar ones. You do not join in, but you let the sound move through you. like wind through cloth. When the prayer ends, there is no amen, just the rustle of bags and feet and cloaks. The day is beginning. Whether you welcome it or not, you shoulder your pack, lift your staff. The march resumes. No command is given. No horn sounds. The road simply calls, and the bodies answer, one by one. They begin to move, shapes rising, joining the line, blending into motion. You fall into step near the front this time. The earth is firmer here, less dust, more stone. The sky remains red above, but the light has changed. It touches your skin now, soft but insistent, wrapping your shadow around your feet. The heat will come again. You feel it already beneath the skin, behind the neck, inside the cloth, ahead. The hills are lower now. The road curves gently through them, threading between clusters of jagged rock. You smell something faint on the wind. Ash-burned wood. You can't be sure. The air carries it only briefly. Then it vanishes. The silence is deeper today. Not even humming now. No prayers. No whispers. The red sky has taken something from the voices. A kind of awe, or dread, or weariness too deep for speech. You hear only the sound of walking. Footsteps, staves, sandals, the groan of straps under weight. You pass a patch of scorched earth-blackened stones, twisted wood, a collapsed post with a faded scrap of red fabric clinging to it. No one explains it. You do not stop. You do not ask. The woman beside you spits once, wipes her mouth, and keeps walking. You begin to count again, this time in threes. 3 steps, 3 breaths, 3 heartbeats. You do it over and over until you lose the numbers. You pass under a small arch carved from stone, its top chipped, its sides marked with old symbols. You reach up and touch it briefly. The stone is cold, rough. It leaves dust on your fingers, beyond the arch. The land opens again, wide, empty. The city is still not there. The sun finally crests the ridge behind you, and the red sky fades into gold. But the feeling of it, of walking beneath something unnatural, something unspoken, remains in your bones. You keep moving, because the only way out of the red sky is forward, because to stop is to stay beneath it forever. The light has softened now. Gold has cooled to gray, and the wind has returned, not strong, but enough to lift the dust and carry it along the path ahead of you. Your boots leave shallow prints behind you, quickly blurred by those who follow. You don't look back. There's nothing behind you except the path you've already paid for with breath and steps and blood in your socks. You crest a slow hill, and on the other side, the column stops. Not abruptly, just a ripple of stillness spreading through the line like ink in water. You follow it forward with your eyes and see why. Graves, dozens of them. No markers, no stones, just mounds. Low, rough, some barely the length of a man, others smaller. The dirt is pale and dry, held down with stacked boots, arranged neatly in pairs left and right. Toe-to-toe like quiet sentinels left behind to remember the weight of what was lost. No names, only the boots. Some are worn through at the sole. Others still bear laces. One pair has a strip of red cloth knotted through the eyelets. You feel your breath catch, but not in surprise. You've seen this before. Not here, but somewhere like here. Because all places begin to blur when the walking does not end. No one speaks. The line pauses, then bends, then moves around the graves in a wide arc. Careful, slow. You do the same. Your eyes scan the boots, not looking for a face, not expecting one, but for a sign, a clue, a reminder. You don't find it. One man kneels, just for a second. He touches one of the boots. His fingers rest on the leather like he's pressing memory back into it. Then he stands, walks on. The path dips again. The graves fade behind a hill. The wind whistles low through the rocks. You taste salt on your lips, not from tears, from the road. The march resumes. Feet shuffle, sandals creak, cloaks snap in the wind. Your blister has reopened. You feel it, a wet sting with each step. The inside of your heel is slick now. The pain pulses. You let it. You glance at your own boots. They've held longer than you expected. The stitching at the side is frayed. The right sole is thin. You think of the graves. You think of the boots. You wonder if someone will lay yours down when the road takes you. You wonder if they'll match, if they'll remember which side bore the wound. The line stretches again, thin with distance. Everyone keeps moving. A priest walks past with a bundle of branches tied at the hip. Ashwood, maybe olive. He doesn't speak. His eyes are swollen from sun, or crying, or both. His sandals are tied with 3 knots. He carries no book, just a satchel and a walking stick. You pass an old shrine stones stacked in a rough circle. A carved figure seated at the center. Weather has erased its face. A cross leans behind it, cracked through the middle. Someone placed 2 small pebbles in the figure's lap. You add one from your pouch. You do not kneel. You do not pray. You just walk on. The road curves again, always. And you are tired of curves, tired of cities that never arrive, tired of skies that burn and boots that bleed and silences that ask too much. You walk anyway, because stopping here would mean digging your own place in the dust, and there are still too many steps left in your legs. You shift your pack. You breathe in slowly. The wind hums through dry grass. Behind you, someone begins to hum again. A low tune, broken. The kind sung at burials. The kind sung to yourself when no one else remains. You do not join in, but your steps begin to match the rhythm, and you march forward past the graves with boots that still move. Evening falls not with color, but with weight. The sky dims without ceremony, as if someone simply turned the world down. No gold, no fire, no fanfare, just less light. You don't notice it until your eyes begin straining to see where the road ends, until shadows no longer stretch, but blend. The path narrows again, threading through a corridor of dead trees thin, gray-limbed, barkless. Some lean like they're listening. Others stand still as spears. But it's not the trees that make you slow. It's what hangs from them. Cloth, ribbons, sleeves, bits of linen and wool torn, faded, knotted around branches and twigs. Some dangle loose, fluttering with the breath of the coming night. Others are bound tight, stiff with age or blood or weather. Red, white, brown, black. Too many to count. Too many to ignore. No one explains them. No one needs to. These are prayers, warnings, farewells, testimonies, and the road has brought you to them now. You pass the first one gently, a strip of pale blue, tied in a careful bow. It dances in the wind like it remembers music. You look away. Another is stained dark near the edge rust-colored. The knot is tight. A child's sleeve, maybe, or a scrap of something once sacred. You feel your breath catch in your throat. You keep walking. The others around you move quietly, their steps softened as if not to disturb the hanging cloth. A woman reaches out and brushes one ribbon with her fingertips. She closes her eyes. She says nothing. Her lips do not move, but something leaves her. You can feel it. You do not speak. You do not touch. But your heart tightens anyway. A crow watches from above. It shifts its claws on the high branch of a leaning trunk. Its wings twitch once, then settle. It does not call out. It just stares. More trees appear, more cloth. The path winds through them like a thread through old wounds, and all around you, the air changes, not colder, not yet, but heavier, as if it carries voices you can't quite hear. The kind of voices that live in dreams you don't remember, or names you never knew how to say. One piece of cloth catches your eye along, fraying scarf, green with faded embroidery along the hem. You don't know why it stops you. Maybe the way it hangs still, straight, unmoving, as if it's listening too, or mourning. You almost reach for it. Almost. But instead, you bow your head as you pass. A gesture. A promise not to forget what you don't yet understand. The trees thin out, one by one. Their broken limbs fade into the dusk. The last cloth hangs from a low branch-torn red linen, twisted around the wood so tightly it looks like a wound. You step beyond it, and the road opens again. Wider now, flatter, still as stone. Camp appears soon after. No fires, just shapes settling into ground already cold. You follow them. You find your spot. You kneel. Your cloak is stiff with dust. Your back aches. The blister on your heel has torn again. You feel it with every breath. You sit slowly, legs folded, palms resting on your knees. You close your eyes, and behind them, the cloth still hangs. All of it. The things left behind. The prayers that never found answers. The names whispered only once. The hands that tied knots they knew they wouldn't return to untie. You lie down without a word, and the wind stirs gently, brushing through the hanging things as if to keep them company. You wake before the others, not because you've rested rest no longer belongs to you, but because your body knows movement is near. The sun hasn't yet crested the hills, but the sky is blooming into that soft, gray blue that always comes before heat. You sit up slowly. Your back is stiff, your hip numb from the stone beneath you. The cloak around your shoulders has slipped. Dew clings to the edges. You pull it tighter, pressing it against your chest, breathing through the cold. The camp is quiet. Bodies lie like stones scattered across the earth. Some curled inward, others sprawled. A few tents still stand, their canvas trembling gently with each breath of wind. The air tastes clean for now, just dust, and stone, and something faint beneath it, the scent of wood. Old wood, dry, familiar. You don't know where it comes from? You rise slowly, muscles groaning in soft rebellion. Your boots resist. They've dried stiff, shaped now to the pain inside them. You push through it. You always do. There's a ruin near the edge of camp, a wall of ancient stone, waist high, crooked like the spine of someone long dead. You walk toward it, not because you've been told to, because something there calls. You sit gently against the stone, letting it take the weight from your back. It's warm already. The heat of yesterday still clings to it. Your hand brushes the top, and then you see them. Carvings. Not deep, not grand. Just markings etched by hand shapes. Lines. Words in fading script. Fingers that once pressed into stone, hoping to leave something behind. One mark draws your eye. A name faint. Misspelled, perhaps unfinished. Beneath it, a smaller handprint carved into the dust-soft stone. a child's. You trace it with your finger. Your calluses scrape against the groove. You pause. Let your palm rest inside it. It's smaller than yours, much smaller. And suddenly, something in you stills. You think of home, not the home of cities or roofs, but something simpler, older, the kind you carried with you at the start of this journey. The smell of bread, the touch of linen drying in a courtyard, a voice calling your name from behind a doorway. You do not cry. You cannot. The tears dried days ago, but your chest swells, and something in your throat aches. You lean forward, press your forehead against the stone. You breathe slowly. You stay there a while. When you finally lift your head, the camp is stirring. Shapes move like shadows reassembling. Boots shuffle. Bags close. Cloth is folded without care. The column will begin again soon. The road waits. It always waits. You stand. You press your fingers once more into the name carved in the stone. You do not know who it belonged to. Maybe no one does. But it meant something once. That's enough. You walk back, pick up your pack, tighten the strap. The staff rests against your shoulder, worn smooth where your hand always holds it. A man near you grunts as he rises. His legs tremble. He spits into the dust, then nods toward the horizon. You follow his gaze. Still no city, still no end. Only more road, more steps, more silence. But you've remembered something now. You carry it with you, tucked behind your ribs, held gently like that carved handprint in stone. You take your place in the line. You walk, and behind you, the ruins sit still, holding names no one speaks aloud, etched in stone, forgotten, but not lost. The sky is empty now, not clear empty. No clouds, no birds, no color. Just a wide, pale ceiling stretched above you like old linen, faded and worn. You don't look at it often. There's nothing left to see in the sky. Your eyes stay low now, on the road, on the feet ahead of you, on the dust kicked up by each step. The march is quieter than ever, not from exhaustion, but from something deeper. A kind of hush that lives in the ribs, where breath becomes memory and silence becomes belief. The ground begins to change again. It's not dust anymore, not loose sand or cracked clay. It's stone, hard, flat, deliberate, a surface carved by hands, laid by men. You feel it through your boots, more solid, more final. The path straightens, narrows. The rhythm of footsteps shifts. The sound changes, becomes sharper. As soles strike stone instead of soil, you look up and you see it. Not a city, not the one you were promised, but something. A wall, low and wide, spread across the land like a sleeping beast. Beyond it, structure square, distant, half swallowed by light. A gate, maybe, a tower, maybe broken, maybe whole. It doesn't matter. The road has led you here. The end. Not with trumpets or bells, but with stillness. You don't cheer. No one does. No voices rise. No one quickens their pace. You just walk. Slower now. Like approaching an altar. Like walking into something you've waited for so long. It no longer needs to be named. Your hands tremble. Your knees shake. The pain returns suddenly. Everywhere. Your blister burns. Your back throbs. Your pack feels twice as heavy. And yet you keep moving. As you near the wall, the column begins to scatter. Not wild, not confused. Just drifting people moving toward shaded corners, toward the dry stone ledges, toward the well that sits just inside the gate, its mouth dark and silent. You don't go to the well. You go to the wall. You place your hand on it. It's warm from the sun. You press your palm flat. You don't know what this place is, whether it's sanctuary or ruin, whether you've arrived or merely paused. But the road no longer stretches ahead. That's enough. You sit. You unfasten your pack. You let it slide from your shoulders for the last time. You unclasp your cloak, loosen your belt, pull off your boots. The pain is sharp as the air touches your skin. You look at your feet, bruised, split, caked in blood and dust and memory. You place them flat against the stone, and for the first time in many days, you do not move. A priest passes, saying nothing. A child laughs quietly, then falls silent again. A bird, perhaps a dove, circles above once, then disappears. You lean your back against the wall. You tilt your head. The sky still offers no answers, but the road is behind you now, not forgotten, not gone, just finished. You close your eyes. You breathe. And the last thing you hear is not silence, but footsteps slowing all around you. Some where yours used to be, and some still arriving long after you've stopped.